Hello and welcome to Sketch in Review, the weekly, the SNL-based sketch review podcast. This is going to be one of our winter break episodes, because SNL's not even weekly. It does like 4-week stretches at most, and then it takes a week off or two, and then it comes back, and then it takes another 2 weeks off, and then it comes back. So, to make the... Oh boy, my camera's gonna shake all podcast.
Tell us about the new office, Billy.
So for the holiday season, I am down at my partner's house. She's off at work right now while I have the day off, so I get to record this just in the middle of the day with Connor.
Hooray!
So I am currently in the spare bedroom of her house, and it was like for the Rona times, it was set up as her work from home office, and so it's a folding table, a lawn chair. In what, like, you can obviously see the bedroom. There's a dresser next to me. There's a crib over there for her nieces back when they used cribs. And she has, like, this little wooden thing that I put the computer on to, like, so that way I had, like, space. But now, anytime I touch it, it does that.
I like that cribs have gone out of style at this household. Back when we used to use cribs.
Well, I mean,
now
they grew up.
The Astro Ball. Oh, fine.
I mean, like, listen, time, despite what everyone seems to think has happened during the Corona pandemic... has marched forward. But anyway, so during this break, this episode, as you can read in the title, is going to be about Saturday morning all-star hits. Or, as they pronounce it in the show, SMASH! Which is Kyle Mooney's Netflix show. It came out December, 18th or something like that. And let's just get into it. So it's on Netflix. You can watch it right now. There are 8 episodes. And the premise for it is that it takes place in like a slightly alternate universe where everything is just like slightly different, so you're not sued for copyright infringement. And
also, well, no, sorry, keep going.
And Kyle Mooney plays 2 twins. Skip and Trebor. Great names.
Yeah, excellent names. Also, Kyle Mooney plays virtually every character.
Yeah, Kyle Mooney plays a lot of characters, but the 2 main characters are Skip and Trebor, and they host Saturday Morning All-Star Hits, which is a Saturday morning cartoon show. It's the show is obviously a love letter to the Saturday morning cartoon shows of Kyle Mooney's generation. And so I think we should start with the good before we move into, like, our issues with the piece as a whole. For me, one of the best goods of it is that the universe that he built is great. There's so much fun within it. A lot, and everything just has, the slight change allegory to one-to-one real world, and I just love that. Like, the fact that Mickey Mouse is, instead, a dog or something.
Puppy the dog.
Yeah, Puppy the dog. You have, a Care Bears ripoff, you have a Denver the Last Dinosaur ripoff. And all the cartoons are, very well animated and very much in the style of 90s and 80s cartoons.
Gorgeous. The animation is gorgeous. And everything... visually, this show is stunning. There's no notes, but
yeah, and all of the '90s clips, because Skip and Trebor are done in live action by Kyle Mooney. Back in the day, they would have random people to be like, "Whoa, radical," at the cartoons that were being shown to get you in and out of ad breaks and between shows. And so those portions are done live action, so you have Smash, along with some news segments that you get. which leads me into another good for it is the format that it's shown in is, like, stylistically, it's great. Every single episode plays like you're putting in a taped VCR into something to see what you recorded over it. The aspect ratio is actually like the old CRT TV aspect ratio instead of HD. And like occasionally you get those little glitches where the tape is kind of wearing thin and you see the original that you had on it, which are like family home videos that you've taped Smash over.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to love. What else? One thing that I'm frustrated at the world that was getting built. And I guess we'll talk about that as we go. We might want to like address things in order at some point, but
Yeah.
the one thing that's really exciting about I don't know if he took inspiration from it but it reminds me of a lot of like Wham City comedy stuff or like Alan Resnick stuff in which like the like there's this weird world that's being made and it's just got these small things that everybody fixates on but doesn't address. So like in this one everyone's always talking about subs. Everyone's always and there's and there's like these characters. There's like this stable of characters, and each one of them means something to every other character. Like even everybody talks about this one baseball player that everyone really likes, and then eventually we get the cartoon that's about his lesser known brother. And like it's just I really like the world building on display. I think it's very very subtle. It's very fun the way they do it. It's just really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can move into a more chronological take on it. So, really, I think that they work. At least the only way I could sit through this whole fucking show was to watch it in 2 episode increments. So every 2 episodes, I'd stop and like take a break, play a video game, eat dinner, do something else entirely, so that there is something like congruently wrong with the show, and I don't know how to put it into words yet. But like, so anyway,
I've got some words for it. I've got some because I love this show. I will admit the first 2 episodes sucked.
Oh my god!
Because it focused on the worst cartoons, but then after the second episode, the worst cartoons ended.
You didn't like the Creator Critters?
The Creator Critters were okay. I hated Randy.
Oh my god! What a miss on a cartoon, huh?
It's so the. I guess we should address the cartoons like directly. Like,
so we'll
they start with Randy?
Yeah, Randy's the first cartoon you see. So it starts. Skip and Trebor are like, "Welcome to Saturday Morning All Star Hits. I'm Skip. I'm Trebor." And, you know, they're doing their, like, fucking 90s catchphrases and shit, jumping around, camera filter changes. And, like, here's Randy. And we go into the Denver, The Last Dinosaur parody. Which...
So how does this hold up as a parody? Because I didn't know this show existed. I don't know what...
I don't know much about... I know that Denver, The Last Dinosaur exists. And I've heard the theme song because, like... If you slightly pitch alter it, it sounds like they're saying Hitler the Last Dinosaur, which is very funny. But anyway, so I'm not quite. I think it holds up relatively as a parody, but also I think like obviously because it's a Netflix show, they're just like, haha, adult themes in cartoons. Let's just throw it in there.
So sorry.
Teresa pointed me out to this, is that every Netflix show eventually just goes like, oh, we're just going to be super dark because we're not on network.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not every Netflix show. The best Netflix shows don't. But,
yeah, but even Cobra Kai did it in, like, season 3.
Yeah,
it got
I really
dark.
Cobra Kai comes around. Yeah. God damn.
For, like, no reason.
But yeah, no, the problem with the first couple, and I'm going off topic for it, but a problem with almost every single one of the starting cartoons is that it was just rude cartoons, which is a joke that has been done to them so many times. It's been done,
Yeah.
overdone. That nobody wants to see
A
this.
new rude cartoon.
That's right. You can do a rude cartoon, but it's also this, or like BoJack Horseman is a rude cartoon, but it's about depression. Like, okay, that's a thing. We can do something with that thing. This was just out the gate rude cartoons, and I had no time for it. There was something interesting and emotional in Randy, but also just like there was nothing funny. There was nothing.
Yeah.
It was something interesting that would like flavor substance, but there was no substance. So like, what are we doing?
Yeah, fucking like it starts off with like a pretty like serious emotional note of Randy and his girlfriend the firefighter are breaking up.
Yeah.
And
which,
then,
by the way, all the firefighter gags are really good.
Yes. Listen. If I just got a show of the firefighter gags, I think Randy would have been a much better cartoon.
She's driving everybody to school in her fire truck. She talks about like
she went to fire school.
She went to fire school. There's like constantly scenes about people talking about like their like made up problems, and then she's like putting out a fire in which people are dying. It's very, like her parts are really really good, but like Randy. And on another note, a lot of these cartoons is just like really. It's like, are you okay, Kyle? Are you doing alright? Like that's it. It gets, and I don't like to do that sort of thing, but like it really is. It doesn't feel as much like since it just comes out of nowhere and it doesn't pay off. It feels more like Kyle venting about something in his life than it feels about Kyle making a world in which this is a relevant thing.
Yeah, and like I get it that there's like the dramatic irony of the idea of, oh, we're supposed to watch this like it's an actual kids TV show and this is what they're putting on.
Yeah.
But at that point I'm like were the 80s and 90s children's cartoons a bit more like, oh, well, you definitely couldn't do that today. A little bit, yeah. But were they like, oh, Randy's getting blackout drunk with his high school friends.
Yeah, no,
and then they burned the house down.
Yeah. Like the way that they were not okay was in the way, or the way that they would not be put on today is in the way that they later show in Strongholds and
Sports Brothers or whatever.
Yeah, Pro Bros. Thank you.
Yeah, Pro Bros.
Like,
whoops.
Pro Bros. Goddamn.
And I will say that Strongholds and Pro Bros are much better cartoons than Randy or Create-A Critters.
Strongholds, I think, is the strongest of all of them.
It was until Skip joins.
It actually, yeah. When we get to that, I do have some
anyway.
notes on
Anyway, so we get through the Randy episode, and at the end he decides he's gonna go to college.
Whatever.
That's the end of the Randy episode. Cut back. Skip and Treyboard doing more jokey stuff. Then we smash into Create-A Critters, which is just a Care Bears ripoff.
Yeah. It's hard to get a read on it at any given point. The tone like flies back and forth, and I have no patience for the weird Care Bear cocaine, especially just like again. It just smacked of cartoons, but rude more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's and like it's also like the like world itself within Create-A Critters is kind of just like it feels like everyone's on Xanax at all times.
Yeah,
where everything feels so muted, except for in order for the Create-A Critters to seem so much more fantastical.
Yeah. And there's some fun in Creative Crittles. I think the boss is a lot of fun.
Oh, he's
I love
great.
everything about the boss. I love how he's just like, I would like you to come to my house and see how fabulously wealthy I am. It's like, wow, no, you are very wealthy, fabulously wealthy. and then the fact that the main Creative Criddle, the best part of Creative Crittles, I would say, is in the like third or fourth episode where the wife finds out that the Creative Crittles exist, and you find out that the reason why he didn't want his wife to find out was not because she wouldn't believe him or it would turn out he was lying to her this whole time. It was because every character has had a history with the Creative Crittles. He had an affair with the leader of the Creative Crittles. He had some sort of like breakdown involving the Creative. Like, everybody has a history with them, and he swore to her that he wouldn't deal with them anymore. And that was such a good twist. I wish it didn't take so long to get to this, but like that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because while I was watching, I was like, I don't understand why he can't let her know, or she'll divorce him.
Yeah.
I was like, I understand not letting her know because she'll want to tell the government. Or something like that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, man. What a joy.
Yeah,
the ending.
Yeah, but anyway. Anyway, so we get through that, and then we're at the end of the episode. These episodes are only like 20 minutes long, which, thank God.
Yeah.
Honestly, they could have been 15 minutes and just cut one of the cartoons, because the cartoons were never what I was watching for, realistically, this entire time.
I liked a lot of the cartoons. I couldn't. I think I found the show very watchable personally. I found it very easy to get through them, even when I was like, "Can we just skip Randy?" Randy kind of just. It was still telling a somewhat interesting story, and I love Digit. I love Digit so much. I wish there was more. Like, Digit is perfect for a '90s cartoon. He's like a nerdy kid that has like one catchphrase, and everybody does the. It's loved it. Love Digit so much.
Mm-hmm. The other good part of Randy is the fact that they start with Randy is the last dinosaur, and then immediately, like a minute and a half in, they're like, I'm not even the last dinosaur, and then they show the other dinosaur that everyone fucking hates.
Yeah, it's just so many dinosaurs. It's really good.
But
like, the problem is and the overarching problem with this whole show is that the jokes are pretty quality, but they're surrounding like stuff that you kind of just don't want to put up with. Like, again, the majority of Randy is just Randy's sad, and it's like, okay, good for Randy. It doesn't support anything. It doesn't support your point. Whatever your angle is with the show, it doesn't support. It's just sitting and watching
like,
a miserable.
If Randy was very miserable because he was the last of his kind, and there were no other dinosaurs in the whole show, I could at least see it. Like, okay, fish out of water, yeah, and that's then the realities of that. But no, he consistently sees dinosaurs the entire show.
Yep.
There's so much wrong with Randy, and I feel like also is because there are plot lines that I really enjoyed seeing, and then there's the Randy plot line, the Creator Critters plot line.
Yeah.
Another note is, so I watched the entire thing while home for the holidays. So I was in my niece and nephew's playroom at my parents' house to watch it. And so the entire time, I would get so bored that I would grab like one of their inflatable balls and just kind of toss it to myself while watching to keep myself like engaged with the medium.
Damn.
And I feel so bad because because here's the thing, I loved the sub motif.
Yes,
I loved.
I have some problems with the sub thing.
I loved that his catch. I loved that he was like, that's very zuzzy zuzz.
Yeah.
But, like, just sitting through an episode was a chore half the time. Anyway, at the end of the first episode, we get Skip says next week we're going to see an all new Strongholds, and I get a part on it. And you can see that Trevor's, like, sad that he didn't get asked to do a part on Strongholds. And, you know, I feel bad for Trevor in this instance, because you can tell he's, like, really hurt, too.
Yeah. And don't forget, there was also, immediately before this, or either, like, an episode before this, Skip just, like, trips Trebor, and Trevor's, like, actually hurt, and, like, and they need to keep doing the scene because it's live. And Trevor's just, like, but feeling betrayed and, like, waiting for an apology, and Skip just keeps punking him.
Yeah,
and then it goes into it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's hilarious enough. So I saw Licorice Pizza last night, and I was talking to Connor about this before we started recording. It's just watching people be vaguely shitty at each other the entire show. I felt so bad for Trebor in that instant. But here's the thing, right? So you're like, oh, okay, so Skip's the villain. Trebor you're supposed to feel bad for, and you get it. But then we get into the second episode, and we see Skip's part in the Strongholds, and it's just one line where he's like, subs? When they're like, what should we do now that we've brought peace? And Trebor is just an asshole to him about it. He's like, you know, even though it wasn't one unimportant, useless, shitty fucking line.
God.
But anyway, let's get into the second episode. Most importantly, we introduce a new cartoon, the Strongholds. The Strongholds, I don't know what they're like, it's like a Thundercats, kind of.
That seems like it.
It's like Thundercats meets Transformers, because there's a war on another planet and they're on Earth.
Yeah. No, I think that's a right way to do it.
And I think that this one works really well as a parody of 80s, 90s cartoons to a T, where it's like, we're gonna bring peace by punching the shit out of everything.
It's just so perfect. Like, this first episode is just so perfect, because you're right. It's using these very marketable characters beating the ever-loving Christ out of a dude, and then saying that they've done peace, and then, like, doing, like, a weird chant, and then the dude that they just beat the shit out of gets up, and he's nice now, so they were just right.
Yeah.
And, like, there's also just, like, this, there's also this, there's also, it just, like, visually, it's really satisfying.
It's visually
this
brutal.
prick get beaten up. Like, it's just like, you watch him be a dick to a bunch of people, and then he gets beaten up. There's no being the bigger man here. He just gets beaten up, and then we win, and then it's the end. And that's just, like, kind of satisfying. You just don't get that a lot, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so Skip is playing, how it works, how the scene goes is this asshole is being an asshole to Skip specifically, who works at a sub shop in the Strongholds cartoon. And then they beat the shit out of the bad guy. He becomes a nice guy, as Connor said. And then they're like, now what do we do? And Skip gets his line and he goes, subs? Which becomes a catchphrase throughout the rest of the show.
So, here's the thing, and I think I'm getting off track a little, but this is my problem with subs. Subs, it exists in a middle ground where it shouldn't. If it was just, there's basically two ways they could have done subs. The first one could have been Buzzy Sub. Was it Buzzy Subs? What's the...
Yeah, the Buzzy Bee Subs, or whatever.
Yeah. The Buzzy Subs could have been a giant mega corporation that, like, owned this channel and, like, was pushing all of this stuff and, like, forcing subs into every... Yeah, that could have been it. Or all of the sub-obsession could have started immediately after Trebor says the subs line. Or sorry, Skip says the subs line, showing that this is just Skip Mania absolutely spinning out of control. But instead we have a middle ground where this is just a place that really likes subs, and there's no real... It's not explored, there's no reason for it. It's not... And of course, there's other ways to explore it other than evil mega corporation, but it's just not explored, and I find that very unsatisfying.
Subs are referenced in, I think, 3 out of them. All are they all of them? I forget if Pro Bros has one.
Oh god, I'm not sure if Pro Bros has one.
But Randy specifically. That's when I started noticing it, because obviously Creative Critters, he interviews with the sub company to redesign their logo. In Randy, the first time I noticed it was when somebody said everyone deserves subs. And I was like, everyone does. You know what? That's fair. One of my favorite sub shops I found out went out of business, so everyone deserves subs.
Yeah.
And if you think everyone deserves subs, hit that subscribe button.
Subs.
Oh, was that what he was trying to do?
That was who he was trying to do.
Kyle, subs for subscriptions also, and it's a commentary on internet culture.
If it is, it's very out of place.
Yeah, if it is, it's weirdly in there.
That's right.
I mean, Skip in the Strongholds. Anyway, Strongholds has that subs, and then fucking the next episode when they bring Skip back because they really liked his line.
Yeah.
And they change the name to Skip and the Strongholds. Fucking turns it into they run a sub shop together as a cartoon instead of the original one because Skip decided, oh, why have you tried just not fighting?
And that part kicks ass. It was the episode before that that was a little bit hairy because it broke what made Strongholds fun.
Oh, yeah. When they go and beat up his stepmom's gala.
Yeah, which would have been a really fun elevation of this point because a bunch of, rich pricks that nobody likes getting beaten up because they're rich pricks being horrible. But then it all gets stopped by Skip. And I think this episode is bad. I like the way Strongholds progresses. I like the way that it becomes, instead of just being... I think the problem was Strongholds was the best of the cartoons the starting block. And then they took it, and then they made something interesting. They took an interesting new direction, and then we were left with 2 that were in, not an interesting direction.
Yeah.
No, I really liked how Strongholds became the story of a cartoon that got completely taken over by one character because they tested well. I think that is an interesting Saturday morning cartoon angle.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I just, like you said, I wish they just didn't take the best one and ruin it.
Yeah. But I agree. I love, or I don't know if you mentioned that you loved it, but when Skip just says, "Have you ever tried not fighting?" and the person's like, "No, this is a generational conflict." Give me 1 minute. I
mean, somebody should have told the Capulets and Montagues that too. Have you tried not fighting each other? which is very funny, but it's one of those it's bad improv, really.
It is.
It's very much just saying no. Where it's like if I'm pretending to hold a bunny and you're like, there's nothing there, why are you crazy? It's like, okay, cool, we've just decided that the scene doesn't matter and we're gonna ruin everything for one joke.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. They turned it into a gift, but it was still a denial.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the second episode, we get introduced to a random kids live action Nickelodeon Disney Channel-esque show with main star Lottie Wolf. We also get introduced to Johnny Rash, who is a bad boy singer, songwriter / actor, kind of.
Both of these characters are played by Kyle Mooney.
No, Lottie Wolf is not played by Kyle Mooney.
Lottie Wolf. Oh, I'm sorry.
Lottie Wolf.
You're
thinking of Bruce Chandling.
I was thinking of Bruce Chandling. I'm very excited for Bruce Chandling.
Bruce Chandling was one of the better parts of this too. Because I didn't expect a Louis Anderson cartoon parody. But anyway, we get introduced to Lottie Wolf. She is a kids TV show star. She has a co-star who they finally shared their first kiss after X amount of seasons on the show. They also mentioned that she started in real life dating Johnny Rash. Johnny Rash released a new music video called "Aw, Shut Up." This is all first and second episode because once again that's the only way I can, because it's just a fever dream throughout. So it's hard to chronologically put it together. Anyway, at the end of the second episode, as the Smash credits are rolling after Trebor's just an asshole to his brother because his line was just subs.
Yep.
We get the report that Lottie Wolf and her co-star have gone missing, and that the house has this horrific accident in there. Which, if we're going to do a her story, but a TV show,
yeah,
I'm down for it. I'm down for oh cool, so we're gonna watch these tapes and interesting stuff is gonna happen.
Yeah, the way they did this particular meta story.
I wish they did more. I wish they did more of it. I wish that this was the Skip and the Strongholds portion where this just slowly took over everything, where that's all anyone could talk about was the fact that Lottie Wolf was just missing.
Yeah. No, there's it goes a lot of directions, and it doesn't. Well, the problem is it has payoff for some of them. I think this one pays off really well. That's it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the brothers bit
does not pay off.
Really good setup and no payoff, or a very, very disappointing payoff. But it was a payoff.
One of the most deflating payoffs I've ever had.
God. Oh well. Anyway,
episodes 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are... Episode 3 is the Dateline episode, right?
No, the Dateline episode isn't until... Hold on, let me get the episode list.
Oh, that might be 5. That might be 5.
Yeah. It's called News. So yeah, I think it is 5.
Anyway, yeah, so episode 3, not much happens. Honestly, Lottie Wolf might have gone missing then in episode 4, and I'm just absolutely confusing the whole story.
I think you are, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't doubt it. Let me pull up the episode list. Saturday Morning All-Star Hits.
Anyway, there are X amount of plot threads throughout.
Yeah, so we're Zoo and Smash.
Yeah. Alright.
Zoo is when they, Zoo is the episode where Skip and Trebor go to the zoo.
Yep.
And Smash is the episode where Skip and Trebor are at the new live
that's
studio.
where Bruce Chandling shows up.
Yes.
Bruce Chandling shows up at the new Smash studio. And he's just a generic... He's a riff on Andrew Dice Clay, Louis Anderson, and other generic stand-up comedians.
Doing a... I don't know if there was a more, a better version of this, but I was getting a Zoe 101 vibe from the... Am I right on... Not Zoe 101. Oh god. What's the... Oh my god. Blonde hair animated girl over actual kids sitcom. I'm losing.
Oh, Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire, thank you. I was getting a Lizzie McGuire vibe, but from a past his prime comedian.
Yeah, and little Bruce was fun. I had fun with that whole cartoon. But all
I'm really glad they only did the one episode because they ran every joke to completion, but they were very good jokes.
Yeah. Listen. If every cartoon could just do a little Bruce, I think the show as a whole would be better.
Yes. Like
show up, play the hits, get off.
The fact that the only like interesting look, he pitched it as like, I had such a good imagination, and the only place he could imagine was being in jail in the Wild West.
In an old Western jail.
That's right. And the way it escalates from like him being bored in class to him being made fun of on the bus to his parents' divorce is so good, and like him stopping on live TV and being like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just very man, that was so good.
So the Randy plot thread continues. He goes to college. Like, people are dicks to him for like no reason.
Yep. Everyone's just mean to Randy,
and then and then he's sad about it. And then his girlfriend's like, buck up, and he's like, I'll try and buck up. And then like that's the end of that Randy episode.
Okay.
Cool.
Fuck,
you know,
Randy.
you did it, Randy. Congratulations.
It's just like it's got a. I mean, I brought up BoJack Horseman before. It does have a BoJack Horseman vibe where it's just like, this person is sad and everyone's mean to them, and it's just like, okay,
yeah. But the problem is that we didn't get any of like the setup for the BoJack is sad show that is seasons 2+. You get season 1 up to like episode 11 where you're like, haha, funny horse has drinking problem.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, funny horse has drinking problem.
Oh, I see. Oh. Yeah. Oh. But anyway, what else is there to say in this? Skipping the Strongholds, we already been over where Skipping the Strongholds progressed through this.
Did Create a Critters do anything?
No, Create a Critters just like it was just these were the good episodes of Create a Critters with the
fabulously wealthy.
Yeah, with the where it focused on the characters that weren't the main character. That's the problem with a bunch of these, in that like a lot of the main characters suck, and the surrounding characters rock. So whenever you get not the main character, you have great, because a lot of them are just it's just these two. It's just Randy and the main character of Creative Crittles, in which they're just sad and they want to do a good job, but they can't because they're not either motivated or talented.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wow, that's
cool.
Kyle, do you need to talk to someone? Like, that's like a lot of the show. I'm just like, hey Kyle, I'm here if you're.
Yeah, listen, buddy, if you need someone.
Like, either this is a cry for help, or you did a really bad job establishing these themes. It's the only two answers. But yeah, that's moving on to the next 2 episodes, I guess.
So, this one is... What happens in this one? Remind me.
Okay, we got news and we got movie. So news is the one where
news is the dope Dateline parody.
Yes.
Which made me, this episode specifically made me start falling in love with the universe that he created, because he went to the point where he made a parody of a news show that, and like down to a T of how they would do those segments.
And every single they paid so much attention to their own work, I guess. But like they had characters that were set up or mentioned offhand in the first one that came back in this one, all of the, like, everybody had a role to play in this. It was really satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
This was really, really good.
Yeah, News is a great payoff episode where like paying attention really benefited you because you're like, oh wow, this is actually like really fun. Because like I've said, is the live action parts to me were way more like engaging and fun than most of the cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah. And the like one of the things that made the later Stronghold episodes really good is the fact that they served as really, really strong companion pieces to the live action parts. Like, you got to see, this is Skip rising to his celebrity. It's just really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we get a few segments. One is mentioning that one tells Skip that he gets to be in the Strongholds movie. That was a good one. So there's one on the history of Smash, and you get to talk to the network exec.
Yeah.
You get to see audition footage for Skip and Trebor. Which, like, all of that to me is very fun. There's a lot of games to play there, especially where like they're two parking attendants and they show up and they're like, "Hey, does anyone have like a blue Toyota Corolla? Cause we lost the keys to it." Oh well, dude, we gotta stop. They're doing auditions. All right, we'll let you get back the auditions. See who can do.
God.
You get a segment on the new cartoon that's being worked on for Smash, Pro Bros.
Yes.
Written by Johnny Rash's less famous brother, Ethan Rash. Starring baseball and basketball's two biggest players, less well-known, less prominent younger brothers.
The baseball player's name was Mo Jones. I remember that.
Yeah, so Mo Jones' brother, and then I forget the basketball player's brother.
I forgot him too, or maybe the basketball player was Mo Jones. One of their names was Mo Jones. But oh god, the Pro Bros managed to be very good at what it was. It
was like popcorn. It was like good but not filling.
Yeah, it was. They did a good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles /
It's okay. They bleed green.
Yeah,
it's G.I. Joe because that's like specifically. Oh, they bleed green. It's okay.
Yeah. So like it was those two, and it had this like super anti-drug message. It like what it was like so many other things that lacked some substance to actually keep you on board. But it was possibly the best parody of those that style of thing, and it also managed to push forward like again Strongholds push forward the live action story by like hammering in the idea of less famous brothers and like showing that we know that there are two characters that are really upset about the fact that they are the less famous brother.
Four. There are four characters at this point because the.
Oh yes, you're right. The two baseball the baseball player and the basketball player as well.
Which means, does Kyle Mooney have like a younger brother?
I don't know. Is there an older Mooney that changed their name? I don't know.
No, there's no way to find out. We don't have the internet.
Because again, the payoff's just so weak.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we get.
Pro Bros has some great jokes in it. I really like the bits where I love the bits where they're talking to the main villain, and the main villain doesn't know who they are, and they're like, "Of course you know us." They're like, yes, you're the less prominent brothers. And they're like, "Why does everyone always say that?" Why does
everyone always say that?
And then they have that like bit, and it's an old joke, but it always works, where they need to where they're like begging the bad guy to see them as a threat, so then they like beg him to get put into like a trap where they will get turned into these like drug monsters, and then they need to get themselves out of it because they got themselves into it. It's I mean, it's a great joke. And then there's the Wrecked Center.
Oh yeah, the Wrecked Center. It's where we go to get wrecked.
And everybody like has like a 1 minute aside trying to clarify that it is a not a rec center, a wrecked center. It's good, like lots of good bits. Lots
Yeah.
of good bits.
And then the final segment for news is we get a in-depth coverage of the disappearance of Lottie Wolf.
Yes.
Which, once again, probably my favorite storyline throughout the entire show. The Randy storyline sucks. The Creator Critter storyline pretty much sucks. Skip and the Strongholds, once again, my issue with it is that Strongholds was like a very good parody concept, and they could have picked a worse cartoon to show the, oh, we're just going to sidetrack it to be the Skip show.
Yeah, imagine Randy if Randy was a show about like this really sad dinosaur, and then imagine like the fun payoff if there was like Randy's gonna get better sort of thing, and then he immediately gets upstaged by Skip, so we never get payoff on that, and it just becomes the Skip show.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be fun, that would be funny, but we lost Strongholds, and that's a sin.
Yeah. So and then also the storyline between Skip and Trebor in the real world was very engaging for me as well until the end.
Yes. No, because yeah.
We'll get there. Anyway, so that's news. News, I think, was one of the best episodes just because it's so fun and such like a love letter to, you know, sometimes I remember when I was a kid, there'd be like a 60-minute segment about something I enjoyed, and so I'd sit down with my parents and watch it.
I watched a lot of 60-minute segments with my parents because it was on right before The Amazing Race, which we all watched together.
Ours was because it was right after football. Yeah, that's right. I'm a jock.
Yeah.
I watched the Pat McAfee show. Anyway, so the 5th episode is the movie episode, so they're on the island.
Yeah, this is where they introduce the co-opted, like there was something very fun about there was it was weird because it was like almost social commentary about it was no, they did a job on it where it was an island that got colonialismed pretty hard, and so the poor children like had a game that they played with rubber bands made by the local factory or something, and then because they were filming a movie there, some rich fuck saw them do it, realized they could make some money off of it, so they made like slingers or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they made a Pokemon style TV show.
Yeah. So for this episode, Skip isn't really in it much. He's too busy filming his movie, and so it's just Trebor and then a guy in a Skip head. Who doesn't say anything the entire time. And so Trebor's just kind of like having to do the whole show by himself. He introduces a kid who won a contest to come be on Smash, and the kid's upset that Skip isn't there. And just, once again, being, like, vaguely shitty towards Trebor.
Yep.
Like his mom wouldn't tell him to be like, you fucking be nice.
That's right. Everyone's just really shitty to Trebor. It's a good... And it ends with an interview with Skip.
Oh yeah, it's an interview. Trebor interviews Skip and Johnny Rash. And Skip says, this is the guy, what should I know from, like, Toilet Butt or whatever? And Johnny's like, oh shit, this is Toilet Butt?
That's right.
Oh. You know, once again, just Skip being an asshole to his brother.
Yep. And it just, then Skip needs to leave to do some shooting, and Trebor is left with the insane Johnny Rash, who constantly, it has been in a number of interviews recently, about things are not solid Lottie Wolf, and then immediately pivots into, why does everyone think I killed Lottie Wolf? I didn't kill Lottie Wolf. I was really nice to her.
Oh my god. The Johnny Rash character, this specific portion plays out Like a lot of the interviews where he's like, I don't know what happened. I'm sad about it. Like,
Yeah.
like all those interviews and stuff just remind me a lot of, I think, Johnny Rotten.
Okay.
He was the bass player for the Sex Pistols, and like I might have gotten the wrong one because there's a few. There's like a few. They all have names like that, so it's either him or like Sid Vicious. And his girlfriend died of like a heroin overdose. And there's an interview with him where he's basically like in almost the same position, like the same kind of despondent, like, I don't know what happened. It was a tragedy. And I was like, damn, like this is like, once again, another like solid 1-for-1 parody that just kind of gets overshadowed by all of this other stuff that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, a lot of the stuff that they want to do is interesting, and what you're begging for while you're watching it and slowly losing hope for is one thing that's going to tie all of these stray bits together and make it the most satisfying bit of television you've ever seen. And it doesn't happen.
And instead of pulling all of them together, he like slips and all of them fly in 8 different directions, and it's a big failure.
Yep.
Anyway, does Trebor quit?
Trebor quits.
Trebor quits. Okay. So right at the end, Trebor goes, no, after Johnny Rash is like, I didn't kill Lottie. Like, he's like, yeah, man, like, and then he just gets up and he just looks at him and is like, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. Which I was so proud of Trebor. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was no.
He should have quit a long time ago.
Yeah, he should have.
We move
Next
into
Danger.
Oh, Danger's the PCA, right?
That's right. This was another excellent. Kyle Mooney has a great eye for finding the funny and like calling it out and making an interesting aside. And this is a perfect example of that, where a bunch of characters say, or their seeds planted. He did a very good job, and it's, either way, throughout the entire series, people are saying "shut up" to each other. There's the song made by Johnny. Rash.
Shut up.
That's right.
Honestly, kind of a bop.
And then in the news episode, there's an interview with a concerned mother saying that the S up word is being used a lot on rude cartoons. And now this is the payoff for that. This is the
public service announcement about not saying "shut up."
Of public service announcements from the time where they just paid the companies to make like a weird special where there's now a new overarching villain of all of these universes.
Yeah,
they even called in characters from a show that isn't part of Smash. It's just very good, very good.
My one issue with it is if you wanted to do a true parody, and I understand it's a comedy, we should have those jokes. Is there's no way in hell that network would ever mention Lil Bruce after canceling it after the first episode.
It's true.
He would be scrubbed from existence. He would not be a floor mat that everyone leaves behind. But I get that like it's a funny joke.
It is. I really wish that they could have built a character out of like if they gave more character to the lady that ran the network to show that she was like vindictive in that sort of way.
Oh my, yeah, no, then it would have made really a lot of sense.
Yeah,
if she was like, oh, we're never working with Bruce Chandling again. Like she just made sly comments about little Bruce the entire time. Like, you know, sometimes we get good ideas and then sometimes Bruce Chandling shows up.
That's right. That would have been great. There's a lot of Saturday Morning All-Star Hits is so close to being one of the best shows on Netflix,
it needed another pass with maybe like 2 new writers to just come in with fresh eyes, just to be like, no. Okay, let's try this maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so that's what's really frustrating about this, is that and that's why I was so enraptured by it, because I couldn't get a read on it at first, so I kept watching it, and then I watched it, and I found all these things that I liked, and these things that I wanted to see pay off, and I also saw these things that I didn't like, and they kept coming back, and it's just...
I went, so, like, you know, I think, and, like, this whole, like, oh, it's so close, but it's wrong, that's what, it frustrated me so much I could only watch 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But once I finished, and I went online to, like, look at what everyone else thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did really like that part, oh, I did really like that part, and nobody's mentioning, like, the other parts that I didn't like, and I'm like, okay, well, at least, like, there's some consensus that parts of it are good. Yeah. And parts of it we don't need to talk about.
That's right. But yeah, that's the entirety of that episode, and we get to the last episode, the worst episode.
Live. So we don't get much payoff, right? Like, shit just kind of happens. We're on the red carpet of the Skip and the Strongholds release, right?
Yes. And Skip is alone, and he's starting to think back on his being shitty to his brother, and he's starting to, like, regret it on live television.
Yeah, which, like, you know, okay, good on you for, like, including that, like, okay, Skip does have a heart, at least.
Yeah, no, there's something in... That's not what's bad about this episode.
No.
This is the setup for what could be a good payoff.
A good pay... Yeah, listen, there's good payoff, and then there's just what he did.
Yep.
Anyway, so we get a sneak preview of the Skip and the Strongholds movie.
Yeah, it was like an okay riff on like a Disney Channel original that I guess just gets blown out of proportion or something. I don't know.
No, it looked like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, dude.
Okay, sure.
They did a live action where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looked like exactly like fucking the whatever his character's name is, the Lion-O. That's not his name, but that's his, like, Thundercats 1-to-1.
God, what was his name? I don't know. I'll try to remember.
All I remember is Kikaru, because that was a really good name.
Yeah, Kikaru. Wait, hold on. Gwinja is an excellent name.
Gwinja's alright, too. But yeah, so anyway, so, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looked exactly like, Lion-O from Strongholds.
Sure.
I didn't go back and look, but can you see Johnny Rash throwing the shoe at that point when they show it?
Oh, that because
I did go back for the end, which we'll get into, but I forgot to go back to that specific point. Anyway, we get that, and then Trebor shows up with Ethan. Ethan Rash, Johnny Rash's less prominent younger brother. Also at this point, we should mention, Johnny Rash has both been arrested and acquitted for the murder of Lottie Wolf's co-star, because they found that body.
Because of the...
because of the different shoe defense.
Mismatched shoe defense. Different shoe defense.
Johnny Rash is always... And they do make mention to it a few times throughout the series, so it does, like... So it's not, like, doesn't come out of nowhere. Is that Johnny Rash always wears 2 different shoes. And when you get the shoe prints from the murder scene of Lottie Wolf's co-star... They're matching. And so, obviously, he couldn't have done it, because if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
That's right. And again, in the same style, one of them is like a Mo Jones replica shoe, and the other one's like a... I'm sure it was a company that was referenced earlier. But
Yeah. Anyway, so you get through the Skip and the Strongholds scene, sneak preview, and you get... and then we get Ethan and Trebor come on, and Ethan's like, my brother murdered them. How do you feel that your co-star is a murderer?
And can we talk about how that is the exact opposite of the ending of the story that he wrote to be painfully obvious about his life? It's all about, you can come home. Please stop being such an asshole. We're here for you. And then at the end, and then like that's the payoff. This episode they have that payoff because of course we didn't. I don't know if we mentioned in Pro Bros there's the two lesser known brothers. But then in much in much a Skip in the Strongholds way, there's their friend Ethan, who is a writer. Who is really good has a lot of hobbies and really good at a lot of things and uses his writer powers to help them solve all of their problems.
I forgot, I didn't forget that Ethan just wrote himself into his own show and made himself the best character who can do anything. I can't believe he made himself a Mary Sue.
It's so perfect. It's really good. But anyway, the end of the story is the Johnny Rash analog, Johnny Selfish.
Oh, real on the nose there, Ethan.
is defeated, and or they try to like reform him, but they can't, and then he's defeated, and then he comes back as a child from before he was turned evil, and then he's reaccepted by his family because he apologized, and that just like there's no opportunity for that in the I mean, obviously he murdered someone, so like that's, but like I feel like Ethan's character, from how we see everything portrayed in the show that he made about his life, would have been willing to accept him regardless of the horrible things.
Although also that goes into is Ethan really any better than Johnny Rash? Well, he didn't murder anyone, but besides that, he didn't like. Johnny Rash is like an asshole and selfish, but Ethan wrote a show to demonize his brother. Got two less prominent younger brothers who also play the sports to sign on as the idea that this is a show about us, and then wrote himself in so he could be the star.
Yeah, he's definitely
so there is like a character study of Ethan Rash in which you see that like, oh no, this makes perfect sense because in his perfect world he could forgive Johnny.
Oh,
but in the real world he's also an asshole.
Yeah. I don't think that paid off in like a good way. Listen.
That,
but that is a good read on that.
Right, like I expect Screen Rant or Cracked or someone will write out this whole character study in 10 years.
God, I remember when Cracked used to be. Did Cracked used? It was just Cracked After Hours, and then everything else was unwatchable.
I've only seen Cracked After Hours, so...
There was like one Cracked, and it was like kinda recent. I don't know if it was kinda recent, but I saw it on Facebook, so they definitely uploaded it recently, where someone just like dropped a hard slur, and I was like, oh wild. Oh wild.
Oh my god.
And it was like one of the After Hours folks.
Oh my god.
I know.
Anyway, back to the show. Anyway, so Ethan Rash comes out, he's like, my brother's a murderer. How do you feel co-starring with a murderer? He's a murderer. And Draper's like, dude, like, I'm just trying to talk to my brother.
Yeah.
They hash it out, kinda. They're angry at each other.
It's like a fight and some yelling, and it's not... None of it feels good.
Yeah. It's just watching two brothers, like, not understand how to communicate with each other, and so they resort to just hitting each other.
Yeah, and also
listen, if you want to go for realism, okay, but like I'd watch The Sopranos then.
Also, just like in a show that is all about referencing prior events, there was no substance to the words they used in that fight. There was no referencing to things that happened before. They were just like,
dude, he didn't even call him toilet butt.
Yeah, they didn't even bring up toilet butt. They didn't do.
Anyway, their parents run on and pull them apart and like, stop, you need to stop fighting. We have a secret to tell you. You have a triplet.
Yeah.
Kyle, who hurt you? Why is this your ending?
It's not a good ending. It's not a good. I was gonna say that's like a we were like a Friday at 5 p.m. and we just want to get home ending, but like you would still get back to work on Monday and undo that.
Yeah, right. Like nobody sat there and was like, we're gonna introduce a triplet who isn't played by Kyle Mooney. First off, that's Nathan Fielder, so he doesn't look like Skip and Trebor.
But don't you get it? That's the joke. It's
not.
It's like it's such a it is clearly a joke, but it's such a like cash out. We didn't know what we were going to do joke that
I would have rathered for the stereotypical network primetime ending of the brothers make up and decide to continue to host Smash.
That's all we want.
Like, no,
you could have come up with a more satisfying ending, but if you can't, that's fine.
That's the ending, guys. Like, listen, the story wrote itself at that point.
Right.
I think, I forget. Like, you know how Gmail now has started, like, auto-filling emails for you?
Yeah.
Gmail would write, like, the ending is Skip and Trebor make up, they continue to host Smash, we have a second season.
That's right. And then you have this good,
good enough ending.
Yes, absolutely. And it also retroactively unfucks Ethan's story, because now, like you said, Ethan is the guy that radicalized Ethan. We could, like, maybe there's a better ending in which there's more Ethan talking to Skip, and you see Ethan radicalizing Skip against... Ethan talking to Trebor, and then radicalizing Trebor against Skip. And then now we have a resolution to Ethan's story where you just see, like, he's filled with all of this hate.
He's also toxic.
Yeah, and then you see Skip getting over the fact that he's jealous of Trebor and recognizing that, oh, the entire Rash family is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
listen.
There's an ending here we didn't make a joke.
Yeah, listen. And these are all off-the-dome piece endings that we're coming up with right now. and listen, all of them are a better ending.
That's right.
Anyway.
And I'm sure there's an amazing ending that you could make if you were a professional and had a week.
Anyway, yeah, so they introduced the triplet, and then it cuts to a news segment. It's the same news that we've seen a bunch of times that mentioned Lottie Wolf disappearing, Johnny Rash getting arrested and acquitted, and now we get this one in which he's rearrested thanks to this young girl who tapes every episode of Smash, watches him over, and notices that in the Skip and the Strongholds sneak preview scene, you can see Johnny Rash in the background hucking a shoe into the ocean. That's the missing shoe for the pair that were used at the murder of Lottie Wolf's co-star. Lottie Wolf's body has yet to be found.
We still have hope.
Thing is, if you pause the news segment when they talk about Sludge Rock at the live concert.
Oh, wild.
Front row with blue hair, Lottie Wolf. Really?
That's so cool.
Right? Like, I didn't notice it the first... I went online and somebody else mentioned it. I was like, oh, that makes me really like the show a lot more. Because, like, okay, cool, they've added, like, a little bit, and maybe we'll get more in the second season about Lottie Wolf.
That's so good.
Yeah, that was really good. And I'm glad that, like, there's no mention of it in it and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get that whole news segment. And then we get, Skip, Trebor, and their triplet... new show, Smearsh or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like an MTV Top 10 type show.
Yeah.
And then the show ends.
And then you're sitting there and you're like,
that's it?
God, that was a shitty ending.
Oh, I haven't been so disappointed.
Yeah. It's disappointing. What can I tell you?
Well, like, if you like Kyle Mooney and you like his style of humor, you should watch it. It's good. You'll enjoy your time, but you will be disappointed in the end.
It's true. I mean, it's got a lot to love. It's got a lot to love. It's just, it's one of those, like, you know, sometimes when something's really good, it's all the more frustrating when it doesn't stick the landing.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think we wouldn't be so hard on it if we didn't enjoy it.
It's true. It's very true.
If it was just bad, we would have been like, it's bad and that's it. But like, it's like so close. Every single time that they should have zagged, they zigged, and zigged, they zagged.
It's true. I mean, yeah. It was an subs show that just was not Zuzzy Zaz enough for it to
Not Zuzzy Zaz. See, that's the thing, right? Like, the catchphrases were fun. Kyle Mooney classics where they were just, like, nonsense, but they worked. You understood immediately what he meant. And Zuzzy Zaz is obviously because pizza's good.
Yeah. And then there's the visuals are spectacular. The parodies are almost all really, really good. Mm. There's lots of jokes that are a lot of fun, but in between, it just wastes its time on stuff you don't care about. It doesn't give you the payoff for things that you're really engaged in. It's the world building's really good. It's just there's it could have been the best.
Once again, I feel like somebody just needed to go through it with like fresh eyes once, maybe twice more, and like just like knocked out the kinks.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think we've said everything we can on it. Oh, wow, one of our longer episodes.
Oh, well, yeah, we were talking about 8 episodes. We were talking about 6 hours of content rather than not 6 hours. 3 hours?
Yeah, probably like 3 out. A little bit less, maybe, because they're like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, like 2.5?
8 over 3, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, so those were our thoughts. If you agree with them, hit that like button. If you don't agree with them, hit that like button. Continue subscribing to us. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify podcasts as well as Apple Podcasts. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Leave us a comment. If you want to email us and tell us that our opinions on Kyle Mooney are shitty, email us at billyhatemail@gmail.com. That's BILLYHATEMAIL@gmail.com. That is a real email address. And listen, nobody's emailed us yet, but if you do, I might read it, and I might put it in the pod. Until then, support local comedy, stay safe, everyone have a happy new year. We will be back in the new year, maybe with just like a vintage episode. We're not sure yet, but we'll definitely be back once SNL's back. So that's our latest timeline. Connor, anything you want to add?
Nope. Bye.
Alright, so long everyone. Bye.